So who you gonna shawl? Shawl busters. Hey everybody, welcome to the Knitting TurnPike. My name is Gina Pike. I'm so happy that you're here with me today. Today we're going to be doing a vlog video. This is vlog number 2023-2, so it's the second vlog of 2023. I've had a little bit of a setback. I have lost one of my computers, the main computer, but it is being repaired. And hopefully I will have it in time to edit this video. So fingers crossed, it is supposedly on its way back home. So let's go ahead and get this vlog recorded today, and let me share with you what I've been working on, some other things. Today we're going to be talking about finished projects, works in progress. I have some new yarns to share with you. I have some community events to share with you, some upcoming things in the knitting and crochet world that I would love to share with you, and then some just life updates. And I would love for you to sit down with me, grab your favorite drink, grab your knitting project, your crochet project, sit down with me for a little bit, and let's just talk about all things knitting and crochet. So, the first thing I'm going to do is talk about a finished project that I have. This is my fourth finished project for 2023. It is my first whip of 2023 to finish. This was a project that has been in my whip pile. I started it in October of 2022, so right after I started my YouTube channel in July, at the end of July, and it has sat. I knitted the whole thing except for the border. It has sat in a bag in my yarn room since probably December 2020. Just waiting for the border to be put on. I even talked about it in my 2021 12 days of Knitmas. This is my vlog. I'm going to finish in 2022, and it's still set in the room all through 2022. And now, finally, because I'm pushing myself to close up my whips, I finished it. I'm not sure if you can guess, but I am talking about the Ninfea Stellata shawl. In the here it is, and it's all its glorious, beautiful lacy shawl. You can see me through it. I don't know if you can see the design. I do have a clip of the shawl when I had it, after I had it pinned out and blocked while it's still on my blocking mat, so you can see the design a lot better. I'm going to insert that here in a minute, but I just want to show you what it looks like as you hold it up, because you can appreciate the true laciness of this. This is knit with a lace weight yarn. The yarn is from Diana Dye. It is true lace. It is 875 yards per 100 grams, which is a designation for lace. You can see how thin it is. That's the ending strip. I just got to clip the strings off after I block it. I always clip the ends off after I block. But you can see how beautiful it is. This shawl does have, you can see what it looks like on a little bit there. This shawl does have beads. So it's lace and beads. My two favorite things together. For me, that's just like peanut butter and jelly. And you can see the beads, maybe like right there. But you can see them when I show it on the blocking mat. But this is just a beautiful shawl. The Ninfea Stellata, something I did not know, and I did not know until I just looked it up right before this podcast. The Ninfea Stellata is actually a water lily. In some of the Asian countries, it is also a blue color water lily in some instances. Some instances it can be like white. But I thought it was kind of apropos. I picked blue, and I didn't even know it was a blue water lily. But it is also known as, for those of you who are horticulturists or gardeners, you probably already know this, but it's also known as the Ninfea nuchali, and it's also a synonym is the Ninfea Stellata, and it is just really beautiful. I love how she brought in some of these flower parts. I don't know, you'll be able to see it when I pin on the blocking board, but you can see a little bit of the flowering leaves there at the very start. of this shawl, and it's just a lot of really simple repeats. It was not hard to knit. I remember it wasn't hard to knit. What kind of stopped me was the border, because the border is a crocheted border. So you knit all of this up, and then when you get to the end, you do this beautiful crochet bind off, and it creates those loops. And this yarn blocked beautifully. You can see how it's holding the block. This yarn is a silk sea-sail blend. It is from the Dye and a Dye. It is the Silken Sea yarn. That's our Silken Sea base, which is 70% silk, 30% sea-sail, which is a, you know, again, beautiful, just soft, super soft base. And I used almost the whole skein of yarn. Let me show you kind of what this yarn looks like knitted up and the coloring of it. But you can kind of see this color is called Oil Slick. You can see this color better actually instead of on the shawl, but it's blues with some purples. Looks like when the water hits it, looks like when light hits a water, it looks like when light hits an oil slick. You know, you can see the variations, and this yarn has a nice sheen because it's got a lot of silk in it, and it is very, very soft. This is 19 grams left over from a 100 gram skein. So I used about 700 and something yards to knit this shawl. And I wish I had finished it earlier. I can't believe I just left it in the bag and didn't finish it. It's just such a beautiful shawl, and now I have another beautiful lace shawl that I can either give to a friend or to my mom or keep. I'm not sure yet what I'll do with it, but it is really pretty. Let me insert the clip I have for this shawl, if you don't mind me sharing a few minutes of a clip, and so you can see the design a little bit better. Hello, I just wanted to take some time and show you guys this shawl I just finished. This is the Ninfea Stellata shawl. The pattern is by Tiziana Samurai. I actually started this shawl in 2020, back when I started my YouTube channel, and I think that's why I let it lag as a whip for so long, because I got busy with YouTube, and all I had to finish last night was this border, but it is quite an extensive border, but we'll get there. You start right here, you do a moss stitch cast on, which I had never done before. I didn't do a recording of stitches or anything for this shawl, again, because I was just starting my YouTube channel. But it's a beautiful shawl. This yarn is from Dye and a Dye. I don't know if you can see the colors. It's called Oil Slick. It's blue, purple. It's got some purple in there. I wanted to leave it on this blocking mat so you could see the design. But the Ninfea Stellata is a water lily, so you can kind of see how she incorporated the flower petals with the beads. This has a size 6/0 seed bead, and I used a color that was close to the yarn, so it's just giving it a little bit of sparkle. But you can see how it grows. None of the stitches were hard. I remember that the shawl was not hard to knit at all, and it went really quickly. The part where I got hung up was the border, but not really hung up. But you can see the beautiful designs. You're just repeating, honestly, different sections. Like you repeat this, for here, 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 and here. And then when you get to here, you repeat this, there. And then you start repeating these sections. As you can see, that section is repeated with the beads. It has a little more beads in it. So you're repeating that section over and over. So the chart is just basically a smaller chart like this section, and then you repeat it however many times to get the shawl size. And then this is just a repeat at the bottom to finish up the section, the lace section at the bottom. And then this border is, you're doing a crocheted border. You're doing a single crochet of you either do 5 stitches or 3 stitches together, like 3 stitches there, 5 stitches, 3 stitches, 5 stitches, and then in between the single crochet stitches together, you're doing a chain of 8, which is not the easiest to do with this really, really thin yarn, but it does add so much to the look of the shawl. And there it is. I finally finished it 2 years and a few months later. The Ninfea Stellata Shawl by pattern by Tiziana Samurai. And so glad that I did do it, and I'm glad that it's finished, and it's a really pretty lacy shawl. Okay, that's the first finished project I have for for this vlog. The next finished project I have is, I feel a little bit like I'm cheating, but it is a finished project. Are these beautiful hearts? Can you see those hearts? Now, I had these styrofoam hearts, the two large hearts that are at the end, the red one and the pink one. And they were just styrofoam hearts. I had them in my craft room. I'm kind of reshifting some things in my craft room. I have 4 boxes of garage sale stuff in there that I'm trying to pull out. We have a treadmill we're pulling out. And I found those styrofoam hearts. And it's since it is right before Valentine's Day, I thought, I'm just going to wrap them with some yarn. So I wrapped that with a red yarn, a DK weight acrylic I had left over in my stash. And that with a pink. And then I hung them on the wall. And then I'm going to be sharing with you in the community section about an upcoming project that's for Valentine's. I'm going to take those hearts and use them in that project. But these patterns are, I have 2 types of hearts here, and I'll show you a close-up picture here in just 1 second. But I want to mention these. They were so simple. I did all of these in a day. I did all these hearts in a day, and they're all crochet, so they went really, really quickly. The first one I want to mention is the heart and soul ornament. And the thing I like about this one is you knit through the back, you crochet through the back loop, and it creates a heart in a heart. So it creates an outline of the heart design by going through the back loop of those stitches as you go around. The pattern is by Maria Moldova. It is a free pattern. I'll link it down below in the description box below. If you want to, crochet this up and maybe stick it in a card for your Valentine, or want to decorate your home a little bit for Valentine's Day, it's a great idea. And they're again, they went really quickly. In just maybe 5 minutes, you can do one of these. The other ornament I made more of these up, are the Hearts of Appreciation by Mariana Mail. It's also a free pattern. I'll link it down below from Mariana. And it's just a beautiful, simple, easy crochet pattern. Very cute. Very, very cute. And I just used again, the leftover scraps I had in my stash. You can make these all kinds of colors. I saw some projects with rainbows of these. And it's just a fun way to put some Valentines into your day, since Valentine's Day is coming up. Or you can, give them to your significant other. Crochet them up, give them to your knitting friends, and it is a crochet project I'm actually sharing here on the Knitting Turnpike, which is very unusual for me, and I was actually pretty excited that I could do these quickly, because I haven't crocheted in a while. But I think all my finished projects this week are all crochet. Who knew? Okay, so those are all the finished projects I have to share with you today. And I was hoping I would get more done. I wanted to get more done on my one of my shawls, and I'll mention that in a minute, but I haven't been feeling well. And I'll explain that more in the live section. If you want to watch that, that's fine. I don't want to go into all the details of that here, but I have been experiencing more headaches. Went back to the ENT, had some more stuff done, and I'll be sharing that again in the live update. If you're interested, if you're not, just, you can skip that section, and I put it at the end so you can skip through it. But I did not get as much done on my projects as I wanted to, because I've been having a lot of headaches. So, unfortunately, they're right in my eyes, so it's very hard for me to focus and to pay attention to the crochet charts or knitting charts or anything, reading. It's really hard for me to do a lot of stuff when I have those types of headaches. So I haven't gotten much done. So those are all the finished projects I have. Let's now get into the projects I'm working on. All right, the first project I want to share with you is a Stash Buster project. This is called the Mini Yarn Cozy project. It is a pattern that is written by Nitty Natty. I'll link her channel down below. She has a beautiful YouTube channel. And I'm just using some of the scraps. I'm going to use all these scraps. I did buy this pattern. This is a paid pattern, in Ravelry, but you get 3 different variations on how to make a yarn cozy. And so I'm excited about using some of my scraps to make some yarn cozies, because it's just a great idea to have these for, and this is the smaller one, so this is for the 50 gram skeins. So when you split your sock yarn into 50 grams, you know, your 100 gram sock yarn into 50 grams, it'll go around the 50 gram skein very well and hold it in place. Now this is the start of it. I did show how to do one of the stitches in this mock cable stitch, but you have this cute little pattern. It's a mock cable one. And I'm just using a fingering weight palette yarn that I had left over. I believe this was from the Casapinka mystery knit along I did last year. Had that left over, but I can see you start out with your DPNs because it's a small hole, and as you get bigger, you can graduate. This is to a 9-inch circular, and but the pattern has a couple of variations. One is just a regular knitting pattern. It's very simple, knit and purls. Then it has this one, and then the third variation it has is for self-striping yarn, which is just very simple. It lets the yarn do all the stripes and make it look really pretty. So you can do 3 different variations with that pattern. So I thought that was really great. I have like this yarn in here to use up. I have this cute little scrap. I think that would make a cute little yarn cozy, just a leftover sock yarn. And then I have some another like white skein, and I've got like 2 baskets of leftover yarn in my room that I'm hopefully gonna be using for a blanket this project this year. I've been wanting to start a scrappy blanket project for about 2 years now, and just been keeping my scraps set aside. So I'm hoping I can get that started. I'm still just trying to decide which one I'm going to do. I've narrowed it down to, I like the Northeasterly blanket by the I think it's Shenanigans, but I kind of am like, am I really going to do all that or not? So I'm trying to make a decision about which one I'm going to do. I do know I don't want to do, I kind of am on the thinking about like maybe a crochet granny square one, but that's a lot of crocheting, and I'm not a big crocheter, so I don't know. I've still got to figure that out. But that's one of the whips I've been working on this week. The other thing I've been working on are some vanilla socks. I told you guys that this year is going to be my year to get back into socks. So what I've started, and I showed you the start of this in my live show, but I've been working on a pair of socks for myself and a pair of socks for my husband. Now, before I show you these, I'm using Patton's Croy sock yarn. And I have Patton's Croy sock, comes in 50 gram skeins already, so you don't have to split them. The thing you have to do if you want to make your socks, now my socks, the sock yarn I just showed you, that is this, and this is, I'm using, sorry for the noise, if there's some noise from that, is Purple Haze. It's this colorway here. It's pinks and purples and gray, self-striping sock yarn. Now, if you pick this yarn, I didn't really pay attention to it, and I just cast on with both of them because I wanted to do it in tandem. Now, the thing I could have done or should have done if I wanted them to match, for me right now, it's not really a big deal that they match. But if you want your socks to match, you need to kind of take your time and when you're casting these on and get to the same patterning in the yarn. Now, here's one of my socks. And then I got the wrong side out. Maybe I should, and this is the other one. I've actually knit the cuff, and I knit a size small. I'm knitting the vanilla sock pattern by Kay Litton, who's the crazy sock lady here on YouTube. As you can see, they're not matching at all, but I still think they're really cute. I'll be happy to wear them, and this is just for me to get familiar with cuff, leg, slip stitch heel, gusset, foot, instep, wrapping up the toe. So I just am trying to get back into that, and again, I'm on the leg part. And then I'll be getting into the slip stitch heel here in a minute. Well, in about 30 something rows on each. But again, I'm doing them in tandem and having a really good time doing it, and reacquainting myself again with how to do this. Maybe I should flip this out so you can see the pretty patterning. This is a lot prettier on the right side of the row. Let me see what that looks like. So I'm going to have a couple of striped socks that don't really match, but they're still cute, and I'll wear them. They're pink and purple. I love that. So those are my pair. And then I showed you also a pair of socks I started for Brian. So I'm doing 4 pair of socks all at the same time, which is fine. It's actually getting it really ingrained into my head, the different steps and what I have to do, because I'm doing it 4 times over and over again. So the yarn I'm using for Brian's is the same yarn. It's the Patton's Croy sock yarn. But for him, he would not wear pink and purple. It's a Patton's Croy sock. And for him, I'm using the tourmaline stripes, which is gray and black stripes. And for his socks, let me show you what the yarn looks like. And again, I did not take the time to get the patterning and the yarn exactly right, so they do not match. He's fine with it. I've showed it to him, and he's like, yeah, I'll wear those. No big deal that they don't match. But this is the yarn. You can see it's black and gray. Maybe a little bit of the gray looks a charcoal gray, like with a little bit of a purple tint. And there looks like there might be well, no, that's a tealy. It's a blue gray. This is shades of gray and black. Really pretty yarn. Let me show you what this looks like. So for his, this is what I've done for him. Again, I'm on the leg. So I've knit the cuff. And I've knit this much down. I'll turn them inside out here in a second. But I just want you to see how far I've gone down it again. And I thought I was going to do magic loop. But I decided just to go ahead and do 9-inch circulars. And I'm really glad I did. I think I really prefer doing 9-inch circular knitting versus magic loop for socks. It's just so much easier. I know a lot of people have trouble with their hands crimping up. I haven't had that at all. I just prefer it. I have less laddering. I don't have to shift and move. I just knit and go. So those are my socks for him. Let me turn them inside out so you can see what they look like. It's a really pretty yarn, and he's liking them. He's excited about me knitting him some socks. He's been watching the whole process, and he's like, finish those socks. I want to wear them. So he's super excited, and I love that. It's nice to have when you're knitting for somebody who they're really excited about it, and you know, just someone who's really knit worthy and know they're going to wear it and be happy to receive it. So here's what it looks like on the outside of them, or the right side of the sock yarn. And it's just really pretty, simple self-stropping yarn. Again, I could have taken some time and matched it up, but I didn't. I just cast on board at the end and kept going. And so I'm about halfway through the leg. I finished the leg, and I'll start the slip stitch heel. But that's what it's looking like. So that's my second pair of socks. Again, that's the vanilla sock pattern by the Crazy Sock Lady. I'll link her all down below. That's a free pattern. If you watch her YouTube video, if you want a pattern that just a written out pattern, I think you have to pay on Ravelry, but it's not that much. And it's definitely worth it if you like to have it all written out in the text. So those are my socks, and I'm so excited. I always say I'm going to do socks, and I never do socks, but I'm doing some socks. I got 4 pairs of socks ongoing. So, and I have a plan for after those. I'm already excited about the next pair that I'm going to be making. I think the next pair I'm going to try to do a different color heel and toe and cuff. And it'll be for me probably, because all the yarns I have are really feminine pinks and reds. And, well, the red he might do, but I think they're all pinks, and I don't know. We'll just have to see. Maybe I can pick I have a yarn over there that he might want to have a pair of socks, and I would love to knit socks for him. If he's really excited about it, I would love to just keep knitting some socks for both of us. And also, I'm thinking about I want to knit some socks for my mom. I always knitted shawls for my mom, and not sweaters, but shawls and scarves. And I really would like to knit her some socks, and my stepdad. So we'll see if I can get that good. That would be really, really great. All right, so the next item I have for a whip is, I shared this with you recently. I did a stitch tutorial for this. This is from the Romi Hill Lace Lovers Club. Now, the shawl right here on Claire, who's my mannequin, and she has some heart lights on here flashing a little bit, is the first installment from that club. That is called a Tone Poem. This is the Lace Lovers Club for 2022. She has a Lace Lovers Club for 2023. Now, one thing she's doing this year that she didn't do last year is if you just like to buy the pattern only, she sells the yarn and the patterns together, But I know she's doing a pattern only option. If you want to do that, I'll try to link it below. You'll have to come up with your own yarns from your stash, but you could go ahead and get a head start. These patterns are not going to be released. The ones for this year will be released next year. Now these I'm talking about are the ones from 2022, so they're going to be released this year, which is why I did the stitch tutorial. I did the tone poem stitch tutorial in last year in 2021. No, 2022. Get my years right. I just did the stitch tutorial for Rose of the Aegean, and then the last one, which is called Lost Coast, that stitch tutorial will be coming out probably next week. I've already filmed it. I filmed it before my computer died, but I'll be releasing that to you guys so you guys can see the stitches that are in it and evaluate if you want to knit it when the pattern comes out soon. It'll be coming out soon this year. So I did start this stitch tutorial. It's in my bag from Bags by Awesome Granny, my little knitting bee. Isn't she cute? Anyway, that's what I'm going to be busy as a bee. I showed you the yarn. This yarn is from Marinated Yarns. It's their Anita lace, and it's in the a Caribbean color. Let's see what colors this is. I don't want to misstate this. The colorway is called Aegean Dreams. Isn't that beautiful? It's a beautiful lace weight yarn. It is 55% blue faced Leicestershire wool, 45% silk, 875 yards per 100 grams. So it's a very lace weight yarn. You can see how thin it is. Very nice to knit with. So now this shawl, this is all I've gotten done, but I did cast on this week, just a couple of days ago. I've only had a chance to knit on it one day. So in one day I got this done. This is through Chart A. So it's a cast on. Now this starts with a provisional cast on. It starts like right up here. Can you see where my stitch marker is? That's where it started. It started with provisional cast on, and I was trying to figure out, did I really have to do a provisional cast on or do I not? And after I read the pattern, I really did, because there was a bunch of stuff afterwards. If I had done just a cast on and just put my stitches on a stitch marker and picked it up, there would have been a hard line where I'd put that cast on. Even if I'd done like maybe even a backwards loop cast on, there would still be like a little bit of a line. So I did do a provisional cast on. I filmed some of it. It was my first time doing a provisional cast on. Not comfortable teaching it to you guys because I'm not an expert at it. But you know, you do start out with a crochet chain, and you go into the chain and it holds your stitches live, and then you come back at a later point, grab those live stitches, and then you knit even further past it. So what this is doing, I don't know if you can see this very well, but there is a definite point on this edge like this. It reminds me a lot of, I knitted a shawl of Romi Hill's last year called the Fuchsia Nouveau Petite, and it had this beautiful pointed edge. What you're doing is you're binding off stitches every so often on the edge of your shawl to create these beautiful points, and it reminds me a lot of that. So I don't know if that's what's going to continue on with this, but that's where the cast on started, and that's what you ended up doing with it. And then I knitted it through Chart A, and that's where I am. So I haven't gotten very far, but that's where I am. I haven't put any beads on it yet, but this does have beads. If you remember, has these beautiful, where are the beads? I think I put them somewhere else. I've got to find the beads. They're not in the bag, but it has a beautiful blue-green beads, 6/0 seed beads that go with this shawl. And so that I'll be getting into that, and super excited about that. It was a lot of fun to knit a little bit of lace like this. I hadn't knitted a little bit of lace. Oh, here they are. I had not knitted a little bit of lace like that in a while, and so it was a lot of fun to knit the lace like that. Here you go. Now you can see the beads with the yarn, and that's gonna be really pretty together. And that's what I got with her Lace Lovers Club, was I got the yarn, I got the pattern, and I got the beads. And she puts a few little extras in there as well. Sometimes I got like I think with Tone Poem, I got a little kitchen scale. So I already had one, but it was an extra one that you can carry in your project bag. It's really, really small. So you can put that in your project bag and carry it with you, which is awesome. She always, like a shawl pin, I think she gave with this one, which I gave away to a friend of mine. So anyway, just some nice little extras if you do have a chance to buy into a shawl club. It's not cheap, but it is fun to be and then you knit that up with the ladies in the Romi Hill group that are in the Lace Lovers Club. There's not a big group of them, but they're really, really, really nice, and I love to do that. I'm really, really behind. They've already started the third shawl, and I'm just working on the second one, so I'm not knitting it along with them, but hopefully I can get caught up on that and in time before the shawls for 2023 start coming out. Okay, so the next item that I want to talk about, another whip of mine, is the Aurora Cabin Shawl, the Hybrid Knit Along from Stephen West. I have not done a lot on it, but this shawl is a beautiful shawl. It uses 5 skeins of fingering weight yarn, size 4 knitting needles. Pattern is knit seamlessly from the top center and down to the chevron border. It is a gorgeous Stephen West design. It is simple sections of stripes and slip stitch knitting. They alternate between the multicolored slip stitch sections, and you only work one color at a time, which makes the color work very easy. It's not like in Tarja, Fair Isle. It's very easy knitting, and but it results in a beautiful pattern that you have at the end. The final section, which I haven't gotten to yet, is a chevron section, which will frame it, and then you'll do an I-cord bind off. He loves I-cords. Remember, I called him Stephen I-cord West because he loves to start with I-cord cast-ons, and he loves to do I-cord bind off, which are actually really nice. And he loves to put a lot of I-cord edging on his shawls, which this one has an I-cord edging, but it frames it gives a nice edge to the shawl. Now this feels so weird after holding the lace in my hand. You can tell it's so dense and thick from the slip stitch knitting, and of course there's not lace in this at all. But you can see, okay, since the last, I think I showed this in my live show. Now since my live show I haven't done any more, but I didn't show it a lot on my live show, so I feel like I'm showing this new. Now this is where you start again, in the center section, you do an I-cord cast on. And then you carry the I-cord edging along throughout the rest of the shawl, and you're going to do an I-cord bind off, which will be a nice I-cord everywhere around the shawl. Now you start with, you have 5 colors. For me, I'll put a picture. I have a beige. I have for my first color, color A. Color A and color C are the lighter colors. My color B is an orangey, multicolored skein with a little bit of browns in there. My color C is a gold color. My color D is a red. And my color E is a brown. And I just thought I picked those colors like in autumn, as autumn was my inspiration. But this is what it's looking like. The last time I showed you guys a shawl in the vlog, I was right here where the snowflake is. I was right at the end of this just alternation of colors, C and D. For the just simple stripes. And what you have to do, what I had to do then was grab all 5 of my colors and do the simple colorworks slip stitch colorwork section again, just like I did up here. Now this section is repeated 3 times. So there's 1, and now we're to 2. And I'm right now I'm on the next section. I believe this is section 5, and I'm doing a slip stitch colorwork section where it is with my colors E and my colors A. And you can change up your colors however you want to. If like at the end, when I get to the chevron border, it'll be my colors. The way the pattern's written, it's supposed to be colors B and D. Now for me, my colors B and D are these 2. And you can see they don't go really well together. It's B is the orange, D is the red. So I don't think when I do a chevron out of those 2 colors, it's going to be easily seen. So I'm probably going to use the B, the orange, because I haven't used it a lot in this shawl, and I'm going to have to figure out what color I have enough of to do the chevron border. It'll probably be E, this dark brown, or maybe if I have enough of the beige. I don't think I'll have enough of the gold, because the gold is the color that's used the most in this shawl. and he said he used about 400 yards of this, his color C, and I only have 400 yards. I think 420 yards of my color C, so I probably won't have enough to do that. But that's what it's looking like. I'm on the next section. You can see the slip stitch color work. You can see what this looks like on the back with all the slip stitch knitting. It's very, very neat, very, very organized. And you also want to keep it loose. You don't want it to be too tight or too loose, but you don't want it to be too tight. It has to be stretchy so it can block a little bit. Now, he doesn't do a lot of aggressive blocking on his shawls, but I like to still block them out some. Especially, I think it'll be really pretty to block this out because you want, there's some sections closing in on themselves, like see right here between this beige and gold, you don't really see the orange in there, but I think blocking it will open it up, and I do want to open that up so you can see all the colors, the beautiful color work that you've done in there, and make those elongated slip stitches shine as well. Now for these color work sections, you're using 5 skeins of yarn. I have a little bit of a he does a little bit of a tip where you you keep them all attached. You can break them if you're having trouble keeping them not in a mess. You have to, but you do have to straighten them out every so often. Let me insert a little bit of a clip here to show you how I do it. I cheat and use my ottoman that sits kind of in front of me. So maybe you could put something in front of you if you don't have that to help you with that. But let me show you what I do. So when I'm working on the Aurora Cabin Shawl, I have all of my yarns laid out like this. I know Stephen West talked about this, but I just have them all laid out, and then I take the next, this is when I'm working on the color stitch section, I just take the color I'm using over the top of these and under, and like he said, but I keep them all like this so that I can straighten them out every so often, because they do get tangled, and I can just kind of keep an eye on them and keep them straight, and that's how you do it. It works really well. Now that really helps me a lot to keep those, because I can just switch them around when they're starting to get kind of in a mess. You take the yarn that you're working over and under. Now he has a video that shows how to do all of this. I'll link it down below. I'm not reteaching his method. I'm just showing you how I do it when I'm doing this and getting this done. So I still have to do this section here, section 5, and then there's another color work section, another one of these, exactly like one of these, so another one of those, and then the chevron border. So I still have 3 big sections, and the rows are getting very long. I believe my stitch count now is over 500 on this section, 500 stitches per row. And when I get to the next color work section, I think it's going to be 700 stitches per row. But when you're in the color work slip stitch section, it's pretty intuitive, because you have a certain number of stitches in each section. So if you don't, you've either dropped a stitch, or you've something's happened, you've missed a stitch, something, or you've one time I did drop a stitch. It had dropped all the way down, but I was able to grab it and pull it back up, which that was really good. So it's pretty intuitive. You can kind of do it as you go along, but it's a really beautiful design. I really love it. It's just a lot of knitting, which is what you want to do. It's hybrid knit along. You sit inside because it's cold and you knit. So I need to try to finish this up, try to find some time to work on it. But hopefully I can do that this next month, and or this February, and finish that up. I don't want to be knitting that in March because of the things I'm going to tell you about in the community tab. I do have this in a beautiful Valentine Gnomes bag from Bags by Awesome Granny. I'll link her store down below. I have quite a few of her bags. I love her bags. I get the bags that don't have the pocket in. I just drop everything inside. But she has a cute little clip. You can clip it onto another bag of yours, or you can clip it here. And I just love they're just very well made and just super cute. This bag is by her. This bag is by her. This bag is by her. She's also a Texan. I think that probably made me want to buy two. She's out of San Antonio, but she has beautiful bags. And so I have that in this Valentine's Day bag. It says I'm going to be working on it in February. I'm always hoping maybe it'd inspire me to pick it up and finish this. I hope to finish this soon. It's still got a little bit of knitting though to go. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is this project is not a whip, but I'm hoping I can cast it on, and I do want to talk about it. This is called Quilty Blanket Project. It is sponsored by Jimmy Bean Wools. The reason I'm going to show it to you is so that you can see what the yarn I've gotten. I haven't cast this on, but this pattern is by Jen Geigley. I hope I say her name right. Jen Geigley. But it is a beautiful, it's a log cabin kind of knit quilt. It looks like a log cabin quilt, but it's knitted. And there's two options you can you can pick. One's like a pinks and kind of maroons and red colors. I did not pick that one, and I know you guys thought I probably would pick that one because those are my colors, but I picked the other one that it's got turquoises and kind of dark blacks and rusts, and I picked that one. So the first color, what happens is you get a yarn every month with a clue. So for January, I got this beautiful yarn. You get the yarn that you're getting is actually a worsted weight yarn. It is the Madeline Tosh, which Jimmy Bean Wool makes Madeline Tosh. It is Madeline Tosh vintage yarn. And vintage is a 200 yards, 115 grams, 182 meters. It is, I believe, 100% superwash merino wool. Yes, it is. And so it's superwash merino, and this color is called Snake. And if you can see, it's kind of really like a dark charcoal, but it has some really pretty blue undertones in it. And it also has a little bit of, I'd say, a green in there, but really pretty. So this is my first one. Again, that's called Madeline Tosh Vintage Yarn, worsted weight, and it is called Snake. So this is the yarn I'm going to start with. I got to start working on my clue 1, and I'll be working on that a little bit every month, hopefully. I have some year-long projects from last year that are part of my whips that I need to either decide if I'm going to frog them or if I'm going to continue to work on them. But maybe I can lump them all together. But I have like 2, 3, 4 year-long projects from last year that kind of stopped around February, March, and I need to figure out if I'm going to pick them up and finish them. So I'm going to add this to a year-long project. So I'll have like 5 year-long projects this year to work on. Actually 6. There's another one, a new one for this year that I haven't started. And you also got like a little stitch marker with the Jimmy Bean Wools Club. It looks like just a little pearl stitch pattern on a little, you could take that off if you just want the bulb stitch marker. But really cute, very lightweight. It's made out of wood. This part's made out of wood, so it's very lightweight. It doesn't weigh down your knitting, but super cute little stitch marker that comes with it as well. And I hope to get started on that because I've always wanted to make some of those log cabin quilty blankets. And I actually have them in my queue. Some patterns by Margaret Holtzman. She does the geometric knit blankets, and I have like 3 of her patterns that I want to make for sure. I have the yarn for one of them that I want to start, so I want to get into making some of these blankets, and I think it would be good for me to do this one in preparation for Margaret Holtzman blanket, and because there's a lot of seaming, you make squares, you knit the squares, and you got to seam them together. So I think it'd be really good practice for me to do this one and then work on that one for it's a bigger project. The one out of the geometric knit blankets book by Margaret Holtzman's are bigger projects, so good practice. All right, so that is the last of the whips that I'm going to talk about. Yay! I know you guys are like, yay! The next thing I want to talk about is community. And what I want to talk about for community and what I'm going to be putting into the community group are upcoming events. Either a knitting project or crochet project. Today I have 2 knit projects to share with you and 1 crochet. So I want to share these with you so you guys can jump in and participate if you want to. I'm going to try to do one of them. Now I'm a really sucker for mystery knit-alongs, especially shawls. I love to do mystery knit-alongs. It's hard for me to refuse them. Last year I was looking at my project list, and I did a lot of mystery knit-alongs. I did more than I actually mentioned in my last vlog, because I did Casapinka, I did Marianarella, I did Romi Hill a couple of times. I did what else did I do? I did a couple of year-long mystery knit-alongs that I ended up stopping. Actually, I did 4 year-long mystery knit-alongs. I ended up kind of stopping, but I started them, and then there's a couple of other ones. Oh, the Miss May for the Helen Stewart. So I just am a big sucker for mystery. Oh, and Stephen West. Who could forget Stephen West, the mystery knit-along in October? So I'm a big sucker for the mystery knit-alongs, and I do a lot of them. So when I see them come up, I'm really, really tempted. But there is one I really want to do again. Now, last year, I'm talking about Marianarella. Last year, I did her mystery knit-along. It was so much fun. It was the first time I knitted one of her mystery knit-alongs. This year, she's going to host, starting February 23rd. It's called, actually it starts February 24th. It's called, Who You Gonna Shawl? Sounds like Ghostbusters. She loves to do her mystery knit-alongs based on movies. So, who you gonna shawl? Shawl Busters is what she's saying. So it is going to be based on Ghostbusters, and I think it'll be really, really fun. She's a very creative writer, and so she makes her patterns really fun and interesting, and I'm excited about it. Now, last year we did the mystery knit-along was based on the movie The Princess Bride, and we did this one, and this was called As You Wish. I don't know if you guys remember this, but we did this beautiful, this was a 4-color shawl, and you did all these different sections, and you split the stitches in the middle, and she alternated the center section. It was just so much fun, and you ended up with this long wrap that you could wear as a shawl, or you can wear as a wrap, or you can wear as a scarf. It's just really, really fun and pretty. And but again, it has all this beautiful stuff that to memories. I ended up having to watch Princess Bride. I had never watched Princess Bride before, and it was so much fun to watch Princess Bride and learn all these different sections. And all the sections were named like the Princess Bride, like I don't know. There was the fire pit. These were the fire pits. There was some kind of cliffs of insanity. I think that's what was one of them. My memory's not remembering all the different references because I've only seen it once. But if you are an avid watcher of the movie, I'm going to try to watch Ghostbusters again before I do the knit-along. You know, the clues will be based on that. But anyway, for this shawl, Who You Gonna Shawl? Again, it starts February 23rd. There are going to be 6 clues. So 1 clue a week. And there will be a group in Ravelry that you can chit-chat. And I have a group in Ravelry. You can chit-chat there with me if you want to about it. But this pattern is going to be a generous shawl, wrap, scarf thingy. I think it's going to be probably similar to this. When I read about it, it says it will be, so if you buy it is a paid pattern. Up until it starts, it's 25% off. Right now it's at a 25% discount. 6 clues. Clue 1 drops on February the 24th. First thing in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. With 2 to 6 clues, 2 to 6 releasing on March 3rd, March 10th, March 16th, March 24th, and then March 31st. This pattern requires 4 full skeins of fingering weight yarn with 4 different colors. Now for me, I'm going to be using a kit from the Fiber Studio. I did buy it. Shh. But I don't count as it going into my stash because I'm going to use it right away as soon as I get it. Does that count? I don't know. Does it count? Don't tell anyone. Especially Brian. Anyway, so he's going to know. He's helping me edit my videos. So, but I did kind of break my rule. I thought this was a really cool kit. It's from the Fiber Studios at Yarn to Die For Studios. It is their Studio Smitten yarn, which I'll go more into the yarn when I'll probably be talking about this in some of my vlogs. But this kit is called Floating Vaporous apparitions, and it's so cute. It's got purples and blues in it. I thought it'd be really pretty, and one of the purples is purpley pink, so you know, I was kind of drawn to it. So for these kits, one of the things, if you're going to be picking yarn from your stash, the thing you want to think about is you need 4 skeins of 4 different colors that play nicely together with each other. Any of them can be slightly speckled, but they don't need to be super variegated. And then each skein needs to have 400 yards or more. I'm kind of looking at my notes so I don't mess up here. To make sure you have enough yarn of the project. The 400 yards does have a little bit of wiggle room. The shawl will include non-stranded color work, so slip stitch color work, which is easy, you know, 1 color per row, which is awesome. And all the colors need to contrast with each other. So you don't want to pick a color like 2 colors, 2 pinks together that are really, it's hard to see the difference between the 2 pinks. You want to have something that's going to pop against each other, even if it's just slightly, but you still want to be able to detect it so that you can see the design. Like in one of this one's, she even put the face of, I can't think of his name, Montoya, and his face was in one of the designs. But the way I knitted it, you can barely, it's right here, you can barely see it. But when it was reversed, like if it was, this darker color was lighter and the yellow was dark, you could see it really well. And I just thought that was so creative. So she probably is going to do some of that again too, because she's very creative like that. The contrasting colorway is called the Slimer yarn. It needs to be one that will go contrast with the other 3 colors really well. And I'll explain more of that once we get into it. I just thought I'd kind of mention it in case you are interested in participating in this. I am going to knit this one. I cannot pass it up. I'm going to do Marianarella. I probably will do Romi Hill this year. She does hers in March to April. And then I'm not sure after that. We'll just have to see. I don't know if Helen Stewart's going to do one this year. Or, you know, and I'm sure Stephen West will do one in October, but I'm not sure that I'm going to do his this year. I think I'm going to take a year off from doing his mystery knit along, but we'll see. You don't know how I'll feel in October. So there are some yarn dyers who are selling kits. I mentioned one of them, the Fiber Studio, Invictus Yarns, Silver Key Stitches, Amanda Hope. It's all listed in Miss Babs and Serendipity Dye Works. They're all listed on the pattern page, which is linked down below. So go check it out if you do want to participate, if you want to buy a kit, or if you want to find yarns in your stash and knit this along with me. I think it's going to be a fun time. That's why I can't pass it up. I really don't need to be doing it, but I can't pass it up. And you know, knitting is about doing the things we love to do, right? So if I have fun, enjoy it, I'm going to do it. And I just love shawls too, so I'm just excited about it, and I had to share it with you guys so that you guys could come do this along with me if you want to. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I love it when you guys knit the same things I do and share it with me. It just inspires me more, and it's just fun. We can talk about the different sections, like, oh gosh, I had trouble with that section. I just kept, you know, my mind just couldn't wrap itself around it, or that section was so much fun to knit, and I just enjoy that so much. That's one of the things I love about mystery knit-alongs. We're all knitting the same thing at the same time and sharing our experiences with it. Sometimes people will change things up too, and you get further inspired by, oh, that is really cool, maybe I'll rip back and do that, you know. So it's a lot of fun, and you learn a lot. You can learn a lot. The next one I want to share, now this one I'm not going to be knitting, but it is really interesting to me. This is from Boo Knits, and I've done a lot of Boo Knits shawls. This is Bev Johnson out of the UK. I've done a lot of her shawls. She does a lot of lace and beads, and I love them. She usually does a Valentine's mystery knit along, but this year she's not going to do that. She's going to be doing a mystery knit along called Blockbuster, and it's going to be in March. And it's going to be, what's going to be interesting about this is she's going to be giving you daily clues to knit for 20 days. So starting March 1st through, I guess, March 21st, you'll have 20 clues to knit for this shawl. You'll get each clue around 10 a.m. UK time, you'll need a series of 6 colors. Now, for the colors, for the first one, you need like 400 yards of yarn, and then the other 5, you need like less, so you could use some of the scraps in your stash. I think it's like 300 yards of yarn. So it's not like mini skeins. You do need like a good amount, at least 300 yards, almost a full skein of yarn. So I would probably just get 5 full skeins of yarn. That's what I would do, just to make sure I had enough. But you are going to have about 100 yards left over of the 5 colors. Just know that. Let's see. Now, there is a new yarn that it is premiering. You can go to Miss Babs. They are selling kits. It is called Holston. It is a fingering weight yarn composed of 51% Bombex. I hope I'm saying that right, Bombex. And 49% blue-faced Leicestershire wool. 430 yards, 100 grams. Bombex is a derivative of bamboo. So you think of bamboo and a blue-faced Leicestershire wool. Oh, dreamy. Sounds awesome. I would love to do that and love to get some of the yarn. The yarn kits I saw are beautiful. There's one that's a purpley pink kind of mix. So pretty. But I saw some rainbow colors, some greens. Really pretty. Go check it out. I will link the pattern page down below, and that will have a link to the Miss Babs site if you do want to participate in that. I love her patterns. They're always well written. She always has the text and the charts. And I wish I had more time. I just don't have enough time to do that and Marianarella and all the other stuff I'm trying to do. So I just made a decision to go with Marianarella this year, since I have done a lot of Bev Johnson in the past. But I'm sure it's going to be very fun, very beautiful. All her designs I just absolutely adore. So just wanted to mention it in case that is more your speed and instead of Marianarella, because that is coming up for March, and that will be fun. For 20 days, you get a clue. That's exciting. The next item I want to mention, I mentioned it already. I mentioned it in my live show. I put a link in my live show to the pattern. There is a year-long crochet along going on. It is gnomes. It is done by Passionate to Craft, and it is so adorable. She is doing a gnome pattern every month. There was the January gnome. There is now the next pattern has come out, and for February we get 2 gnomes. We get a boy and a girl, and they're dressed up so cute for Valentine's Day. I think that's what I'm going to try to fit this in and get caught up. I haven't done any of these, but I do want to try this because I think it'll give me a chance to practice amigurumi. I've never done amigurumi before, and I think it'd be fun to use up some of the scraps of yarn I have for this, some of the worsted weight scraps I have, and practice my hand at amigurumi, keep some of my crochet skills up. And I'm going to probably use some of these hearts on the hat like they're showing in these pictures here. So it double duties my little hearts I made here for the wall just for this week. And then for I'll be hopefully using them for the Valentine's Day gnomes. Now, she's giving us more than 2 gnome patterns this month. They're always free, which is awesome. So I'm going to link her website so she can get the traffic for her website. She did mention also, like, for some of the months you're going to be getting more than one. Like this month we got more than one. I think around Christmas she mentioned there's going to be more than one Christmas gnome. So you're going to end up with about 20 gnome patterns this year doing this gnome along. And I'm excited about it. I want to try to do it. I think it'd be good for my crochet skills to practice it and try it. And it is free. I love that. It's really nice of her to do that. So I hope you'll check it out. And that is the last community item I wanted to mention. 2 knit, 1 crochet. Really fun, super exciting. I love mystery knit-alongs. They're so much fun. It just connects you to people doing the same thing, and you meet new friends, and just have a really good time. So I hope you'll check some of those out if that sounds like something you'd want to do. Now, for the next section we're going to talk about is new yarns. And this is probably the only time I'm going to have this section in my vlogs. Unless I'm bad, which I was a little bit bad. But I had told you guys I'm going to try to knit from my stash and do a little bit of a stash reduction because I have kind of gotten out of control a little bit. And it's getting a little bit, a lot of yarn. So I decided I'm going to be destashing some. I'm not getting rid of everything, but trying to get rid of some of it. And So I said I was not going to buy new yarn this year. So this, I have a clip I'm going to show you. I have yarn I bought in December that came in, and then my computer broke, so I wasn't able to share that with you. But I did film it with my camera. I'm going to now edit it and put it in. I have 2 yarn companies I'm sharing. One is Miss Babs. This was from her annual gratitude sale in December. And then the other one is a yarn store out of Canada. So let me insert that clip and share those new yarns with you. Okay, now we're ready to the part to share some brand new yarns. This will be the last brand new yarns I have for this year, unless I'm bad and break my goal of using yarns from my stash. But this was bought last year, 2022, so I didn't buy it this year. But I'm going to share it, and this will probably be the last time I'm sharing new yarns for this year, since I'll be working from my stash. Now, Miss Babs has their annual gratitude sale every December, and I told you guys in my last vlog that they were just really stocked up. It was hard to pass up, so I got one order, and then I went back, and I bought another one. I know. Look at all this beautiful yarn we're going to look at today. And I also have another one from the Knitting Loft, which is out of Canada. So we have 3 different yarn bags to look at today. So let's get started. Let's look at the small one first. This is from Miss Babs. Excuse the noises. Okay, the first thing I got is, I bought Yummy Happy Toes. These are Yummy 2-ply toes. They're like this. They're like the mini skeins that you can get, but they're better because this is Yummy is 100% superwash merino wool. These 2-ply toes are a little bit more yardage than you get in the mini skeins. The mini skeins are usually about 80 yards to 90 yards, 20 gram. These are 38 grams. You get 133 yards in these little mini toes. Now they retail for $11. I got them for like 25% off. I think you have to pick the ones that were in stock. But I got one of each color. This one is Shawl. So it's a bluish gray. This one is Catbird. It's kind of like a medium gray, blue gray Catbird. And then this one, did I get 2 of these? Yeah, I got 2 of these. So these are the same color. This is called Mount Kootaloo. It's like a beautiful green. And then the last color I got was this kind of brownish color. It is neutral. It's called Seashell. It's actually a pinkish brown seashell. So those are some Yummy 2-ply toes. I thought those would go really good with my mini skeins I have from my Advent sets. And I thought it could kind of help, maybe since they're kind of more neutral, so they could kind of blend in with some of the wilder yarn colors and kind of make whatever I'm making blend a little bit. So got those. And again, they were so, they were like, with the sale, they were $8 or something, which is what you're going to pay for a 20 gram mini skein. So, I thought that was a really good deal. And you got more yardage. All right, let's see what's in the next thing. Ooh. Okay. Then this is Miss Babs Tart yarn. Tart is fingering weight yarn. It is 75% superwash merino wool, 15% nylon, 10% tencel. It is in a 500 yard hank, which is 457 meters. 4.3 ounces, 122 grams. This tart is awesome. It's super squishy. Again, it's a sock yarn. This is like a self-stropping yarn. This color is called Perfectly Reckless. It was such a good buy on sale. Thought that was just some really pretty colors. I see socks. This is also another color of tart. Same yardage. This is called Rise and Shine. And it's the pretty pink with some darker pinks and lighter pinks and some purples. And maybe even a little bit of like a rusty pink in there. So I got those 2 in tart. And then the last of this order, there's one more. And this is, ooh, this is Yarning. Yarning is the lace weight yarn. It's heavy lace. You can kind of see what it is. It is plied. It is so pretty. It knits up so well. I've used this for a couple of my shawls. I'm trying to get under a ply so you can see what it looks like. Again, it's heavyweight lace, which kind of is close to fingering, but it is still lace. It knits up beautifully. Here, there we go. Got to apply. That's what it looks like. So it is pretty thin, but this is 1,200 yards in this one skein. This is 65% merino wool, 35% tussa silk, super soft, this has beautiful drape when you knit it up. 1,200 yards, 1,095 meters, 6.6 ounces, 185 grams. This color is like cream with some gray in it, and I can also see like some blue in there. And this colorway is called Krill, K-R-I-L-L. Isn't that pretty? I love the light variegation because that won't interfere with the lace pattern too much. And with it being a lighter colorway, I thought it'd still be pretty for lace, but not, again, competing with the lace patterns too much. So that gives it a little bit, sometimes I get tired of the tonals, so I wanted something lightly variegated or in a lighter color to use for lace. All right, so that was the first order from this fab. Let's get into the second order. This one's bigger. This is the bigger one. Let's do that, and then we'll get into the knitting loft. All right, the next item from Miss Fab's. Ooh, this is Yet. This is the same base that Yarning is. Yet is just this. It's the exact same base that Yarning is that I just showed you, but it is a smaller skein offering. So the Yarning and Yet are both 65% superwash merino wool and 35% tussa silk, and it's heavy lace. And this offering is a 400-yard skein. So it is 365 meters, 2.2 ounces, 62 grams. And again, it's heavy lace, just like the Yarning. And this colorway is called Palin Beach. Palin Beach, yeah. It's like a sea green. And I got 4 of these. I thought this would be such a beautiful shawl, or even a top. 1,600 yards is enough for a shawl or a top. So pretty. Okay, so that's Palin Beach. The next item is Putnam yarn. I've never had Putnam yarn before. It's P-U-T-N-A-M. It is a fingering weight yarn, and it is a sock base. It is 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon. Mostly what we've seen sock yarns right out of, right? This is 400 yards. It is 365 meters, 3.9 ounces, 110 grams. This colorway is called Ziggy Stardust. Now, I've had this on my channel before in a different yarn base, but isn't that pretty? It's greens and pinks and blues and purples. I actually got 2 of these. I thought socks. If I do socks, I might give one away for socks because I only really need one for socks. Or a shawl. Isn't that pretty? So pretty colors. Ziggy Stardust. I can't even say that. Such pretty colors. This is a tart yarn. I just showed tart yarn. Tart is kind of a sock weight. It's fingering weight. 75% superwash merino. 15% nylon, 10% tinsel. This is 500 yards, 457 meters, 4.3 ounces. And this colorway is called, I should know this. Bougainvillea. And I thought also these might all go together. I remember when I was looking at that. Yeah, they kind of do. So if you do that, then you'd have 1,000. No, this is 800 and 500. So you'd have 1,300 yards to make something out of if you put them all together. So anyway, maybe a nice shawl, colorway shawl. All right, so those 2 more items in this, no, 1 more item in this order, and then the other one. This is a big one. All right, this was a sweater quantity of yarn. Now this is, the base of this is Tarte, which I just told you what it was. It's 500 yards per skein, 457 meters. It is 75% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 10% tencel. This colorway is so pretty and just kind of, it's beige, but it's got pink undertones and maybe some rust and purples. This colorway is called Autumn Toad Lily. Isn't that pretty? And this is a 500 yard skein. I got 4 of these for a sweater quantity of a sweater quantity. So this I want to make into a sweater or a top. Isn't that beautiful? Those are all 4 skeins together. Thought that'd be pretty. So that's all. That's the last thing I got from Miss Babs on their sale. And again, the sale was so good. I mean, so good. It was 25% off. All this was in stock, and there was so much in stock this year. Like I said before, in previous years, they've had some stuff in stock, but there was a lot of stuff that was sold out. This year, they had every item in stock and lots of it. It was really hard to limit myself, which is why I went back and placed a second order. Anyway, okay. The next item I want to share is from the Knitting Loft, which is out of Canada. They have such beautiful presentation. I mean, the yarn comes in black bag, and it comes wrapped up like this. Isn't that pretty? I got some sock yarns that they have. This with the Bliss sock set base. I've given away some of that here on my channel before. I got 3 sock sets from them in the Bliss. They're all Bliss. Here we go. Sorry for the noise. All right, this is the Cozy Knitter Bliss, the Cozy Knitter sock set. And basically, this is a fingering weight yarn. It is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. It is 185 grams, 4 ounces. I'm sorry, 115 grams. It is 420 yards for the main skein, and then the mini is probably like 80 yards. This color is called, this is the Cozy Knitter. Here's the label. It's a Bliss sock set, so you can see that too. This colorway is called Trendsetter. You can see the main colors in here, blue and pink, cream, and it has that mint green in there, and then the mini is the mint green. And that pretty? I think this had, you could pick different colors of for the mini, like they had one was blue, one that was pink, the mint green or the cream. I liked the green for some reason. I usually am not a green person, but I thought that was really pretty mint green. The next one I got, this is the same yarn base, just a different yarn color. The next one I got was called Will You Follow? That's the main skein here, 420 yards, and that pretty with all these different colors is self-striping sock yarn. And then the mini is blue, and that pretty. And then the last one I got is like really fun for summer, I think. Looks like summer to me. It's called Spring Mist. And it's, or spring, yeah, summer spring. And it's green with cream and gray. And then the mini is that bright acid green. That's so cute. So that's what I got for new yarns. That's the last of the new yarns I'll be sharing here on my channel this year. Unless I'm bad, but I'm going to try to be good and stick to my goal of knitting from my stash. And I bought these in 22, sharing them now. And thank you for letting me share them. I hope you found maybe some new yarn you might want to try or that you might like. If you have a favorite of these, let me know down in the comments below. Aren't those pretty? I'm so excited to use some of those up in the annual gratitude sale. I can hardly ever pass because it's, well, this year, a lot of times they don't have a lot of things in stock. This year, they were just so, their shelves were overflowing. And I was like, gimme. I couldn't pass it up. I just couldn't. And it was such a good deal, too. I mean, 25% off. It was just, if I'm, going to use it, 25% off. And nice yarns. So, but it was last year, not this year, so that's how I'm justifying it to myself. Okay, that's it for the new yarn section. little bit about the yarn destash since this is the beginning of February. Tell you how I'm doing for January. Okay, so here we go. I'm not going to give you all the details. And I sold barnyard knits, this sock yarn. No, okay, so for what I did not mean to sell any yarn, and I'm not looking to sell yarn. But what happened was when I started moving some of the yarn from my in stash into will trade or sale, some people started messaging me like, I want to buy this, I want to buy this. Most of the items that I moved from my stash to my will trade or sell, those are items I've designated for giveaways for you guys for the whole year. I've got like 120 items that I've moved over. So that's 120 items, and some of them are multiple skeins. So it's really more than 120 skeins of yarn that I'm going to try to use for giveaways for you guys. But people started messaging me, and I was too nice, broke down, and I said, okay. So one of the things that I sold was the Suburban Stitches Advent that I just opened in December. A lady was like, wanted it so bad. I didn't have a project for it. So I sold the Suburban Stitches 2022 Advent set to her. So that was 25 skeins. Even though they're mini skeins, they count as 25 skeins. So I sold that to her. And I know she's working on a project with that. And then the other item I sold was a sock yarn that I wasn't looking to sell, but the barnyard knits that I have in my giveaway for February, this lady really wanted those skeins. I talked her into another skein because I wanted to save the barnyard skeins for you guys. So I sold another skein. So I sold 26 skeins of yarn. And then I donated a lot to a lady who's doing some stuff for charity. But there was only about 3 of the skeins that were listed on my stash for Ravelry, so that took me down about 3 items. And then I gave away 20 skeins for YouTube giveaways for you guys. So, and then 1 skein was for a finished project that I just finished. So my grand total reduction for January is 50 skeins. Ooh. My number is a lot, but I probably am going to go back and do this by items, because remember, I wasn't really looking at the skeins. I was looking at the number of listings I have in Ravelry. That was 855. I need to look at how many listings I took off, because I don't think it would be that many. I know Suburban Stitches was only 1. The sock yarn was 1. And there was 3, so that's 5. And then 20. So it'd be 25. I can do that right. 25 items reduction. Oh, no, might be less than that, because some of those skeins I had for giveaway were double skeins, like the Madeline Tosh yarn was 2 skeins, the Barnyard's 2 skeins, Mary Maxim was 2 skeins, so probably more like 20 items reduction, 20 entries off of my stash in Ravelry. So 855 to we'll say 835. Yeah, there we go. That's kind of my rough math in my head. So it's still a reduction, which is a very good thing. I'm meeting my goals for 2023 so far for that. Updates, and I'm for the live updates. I still am waiting on part of my computer to be returned. I got the computer part back, but they didn't send everything back that I sent to them, and it's hard for me to use my computer. They did not send my charging cord back, so I'm waiting on them to send my charging cord back, because I can't use it. I can't charge it. I still got a little bit of battery power that I'm going to kind of use to help me while I'm going to be editing this video, but they're supposedly sending it back to me. I don't know. I'm hoping. Because I couldn't find, I tried to buy an extra one, and they don't carry that model. Well, there was one that was $100 and something, and I refused to pay $100 and something for a charging cord when they kept it, and they should return it. So I'm hoping I get it back soon. That's been my delay in getting it all fixed and back. But my computer is fixed. I just don't have a way to charge it. That's the live update I had to share with you. There's another live update. I actually did go, I told you guys about, you guys know I was sick in October. And I'm still congested. I've been having a lot of headaches lately. And there is a reason for it. I went and I did allergy testing, and that was a lot of fun, but it wasn't painful at all. The great thing is I learned that I'm not allergic to hardly anything. I'm allergic to cats, which has never been an issue for me because I've always had dogs. You know, growing up, we've had dogs, and I've had dogs with Brian. We've had dogs, so I've never had cats. So it's never been an issue. That's the only thing I'm allergic to. So since we ruled all of that out, he was like, if we rule out that you don't have a lot of allergies, then there's something else going on. And so we did a scan of my head, and yeah, there's something going on, and I need to have surgery to fix it. I have like 3 big nodules over here on this side of my head, which is why I have a lot of headaches start over on this side of my head. There's a lot of blockage to my sinus cavities. I have a nodule over here that needs to be removed, like these 3 over here, 1 over here that needs to be removed or blocked out. I don't remember exactly how he's going to do it. Then I have a bone that's jutting out that he wants to shave. That's also blocking this side of my nose. I think it's also causing a ringing in my ear because I've always had ringing in my ears, but also the sinus cavities that come from my ears to my this way up to my this way are both very narrow, and he says they need to be opened up as well, which is probably causing my ear to ring a little bit. I think it's also maybe messing my vision a little bit because I've had a hard time seeing things lately. So I'm just hoping they can get it fixed because of the headaches and the pressure. I wake up every morning really, really congested. I'm still congested throughout the day, but at least the headache gets a little bit better. I think the laying flat causes it to just stay down in my head, and because it's not draining very well, I wake up with really bad headaches and then stay congested throughout the day. But it gets a little bit better, but then, you know, the next morning, here we go again. So I'm excited. I'm hoping that the insurance will approve it. That's what I'm waiting on, and then I can be back to normal. Maybe I'll feel better than I felt in years with all these headaches and congestion, because it can make you tired, and you know, you're not getting enough at that coming down, so clearing out. So I'm excited. There was a real reason for why I'm having the headaches. That's what I was worried about. I was like, they're probably not going to find anything, but they did. He's found really big. He was like, oh my gosh, I know exactly why you're having headaches. So I was thankful for that, and that there is a way to fix it. I just hope that I can get some help for paying for it, and we'll go from there, and I'm excited about getting that done. So I thought I'd share that with you because you guys know I was really sick, and I'm still battling it. It still is affecting me with my knitting because there are days when my eyes are just, I cannot focus. I cannot, I can't stare at something. I can't look at the charts. I'm reading something incorrectly, so I'm making mistakes. So it has really slowed me down on my knitting, and I'm anxious to get it fixed so that I can feel better and get more things done so I can share with you guys and stuff, and we can talk about it. Anyway, let me know how you're doing. I would love to know how you guys are doing. Please let me know down in the comments below what's going on with you, what you might be knitting, how you're feeling, what's going on. Give me a catch up, and I will try to get caught up with my comments, and still behind on things, but I'm trying to get through it. And I know you guys are patient with me, and I appreciate that. But I appreciate you sitting with me today and letting me share all this stuff. I hope you're doing well. I hope you all have a wonderful Valentine's Day that is coming up. You know, if you don't have a significant other, treat yourself. You be your own Valentine and treat yourself nice and do something nice for yourself that day. It doesn't have to be expensive. It can be just do something that you like to do and just enjoy it and have a good time and don't feel guilty about it. The other thing I want to mention is I do have my giveaway going on. My monthly giveaway, I've broken it up into 2. So I'm on my 3rd giveaway for the year. I will be picking the winner on Valentine's Day of that giveaway, and then I'll probably be posting the next one, like maybe the next day. I haven't even thought that far ahead, but it is coming soon, and I think in a week. So you might want to check that out if you haven't had a chance to enter, and see if there's something that you might want to participate in to win. There might be something that you really love, and you might win. You just never know. So I still have new people winning my giveaways all the time. But thank you guys so much for spending time with me, for being here with me, for sharing with me. I hope and pray that you're all just doing very, very well, having a wonderful winter, wonderful hybrid knit along, whatever you're doing. I just hope it's great, and I just wish you all the best, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. Please take care of yourselves.